If you're a guy in your 30s or even in your late 20s and you're struggling to attract and retain the women that you actually want and find attractive, you're making one of these mistakes. And I'm going to show you by the end of this video how to fix this and become the man that women die to be with and comply with every single thing you say. Let's roll the intro and let's get into this. Yep, that's me. And if you're new here, my name is Dan, creator of the Ferrari Method. Before I had foursomes with hot girls in my house, I was absolutely horrible with women. In fact, I was so bad that even the ones who somehow found me cute, despite all the acne on my face, would literally lose interest after the first date. I was convinced some guys were just born good with women and I was not one of them. So I gave up. But one day I had enough and decided something had to change. And that was the start of a 5-year journey to master what makes women attracted, the language of women, and social dynamics. I went deeper on this than anyone before, and along the way I approached thousands of women and dated hundreds of them: models, students, teachers, virgins, hot mums, religious girls, rich girls, you name it. What I learned about women and people during those years completely changed my results and how I see the world. In 2025 alone, I went on over 57 dates. That's at least one new date a week for an entire year, and every one of those dates ended up in the bedroom. I never thought that a 5'7" average guy like me could have a dating life like this. I mean, this was out of the fucking movies, dude. And that is when I knew I was onto something. So I took everything that I had learned about women, psychology, social dynamics, and turned it into a simple, repeatable strategy called the Ferrari Method. Since then, I have taught this method to dozens of men in person and hundreds more online. These guys now date attractive women consistently and live a lifestyle they never thought was actually possible for them. If you're a driven man doing well in your career, but your dating and social life is just not going as well, and you're sick of gimmicky dating coaches telling you just to be confident without getting you real results, this channel is built for you. No fluff, no bullshit, just what actually worked for me and hundreds of other men. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into this. Okay, so women have a way to categorize men in their life based on the perceived value that they have in their head of the guy that they are talking to. And this perceived value affects their level of interest. And the more perceived value that you have in her eyes, the more interest she's going to have for you. And the higher up in the hierarchy of men in the world of women you are going to go. And as you go up in the hierarchy, there is going to be less friction. She's going to make things easier for you to date her. For example, we have the orbiter here. This guy, she doesn't fuck him, okay? This is the kind of guy that whenever he asks her to go on a date or anything, she says, I don't want to do drinks, I don't want to do this, I want to go to a restaurant, I want to do sushi, you have to come and pick me up, I'm not going to get a taxi, that is too far. She is going to find any type of friction, unnecessary difficulty to add to this guy's pursuit to basically date her, because he is very low in the interest level, because his perceived value in her eyes is very low. Okay, we will talk about why that is and how to fix it and how you can go up in the ranks. The provider here, this is the guy that she kind of sees on her level. Okay, this is the kind of guy who, you know, has a decent life, a decent job, probably even looks good. And by the way, this has nothing to do with looks or money. This is more about how you behave, because women pick on the sub-communications more than they pick on the money, the looks, the status, all that shit, because that is not an honest signal. And I speak about this in a different video, but this has nothing to do with looks. This is purely based on your boundaries, how you behave and how you communicate. That's what she's picking up in her brain to categorize you here, okay? It's all about your behavior, guys. Please fucking understand this. Looks maxing, making money, all that shit, this is for you, so you can feel better about yourself. But women don't care about this, because if your subcommunication is still shit, if you still behave like an orbiter or a provider, then you're just going to be this. No amount of money is going to fix this. So the provider is a guy who is the safe choice. She knows that she can do better than him. Of course, the orbiter, she can just get rid of him whenever she wants, because there is a bunch of orbiters, and orbiters basically should just use them for resources, money. He's the guy that picks her up whenever, you know, she needs a lift. He's the guy that sends her food. He's the guy that, you know, sends her money. This is like the lowest you can be in the food chain. And this is going to be the guy who's the white knight, pretends to be, you know, nice to women just because he doesn't get results. And he thinks that being nice is going to get girls. And girls know this and they see this. And this is why they have such rules and conditions for being near this guy. For this guy to get their attention and their time, they need to get something from him. And the provider is basically just a level up from this. And the provider, she will still give him rules and conditions and friction, but he's the safe choice. He's the one that is going to look after her. He's the one that is going to take her out on holiday and pay for everything. She's not going to put any effort into this relationship or this, whatever the fuck this is, right? And this is the kind of guy that will be on eggshells all the time. This is the kind of guy who you're like one bad text away, one cringe thing away, one just simple small mistake away for her to just, you know, completely cut contact and not text you for a while. Or she will start making a massive big issue of something small, you know, like the fact that you just missed a text or you didn't reply to a text the same way that she would have wanted you to reply, or the fact that your hair was like an inch on the side, and she will just find an excuse to just create friction using any type of excuse. And then the level above this is the lover. And the lover practically gets no friction, okay? So if this guy goes, hey, let's go for drinks next weekend at this time, this place, she would say, of course, no problem, sounds good, and send you a smiley face. This is the guy that on the first date, she will go home with, right? This is the guy who, even after not texting her for a week, after they had slept together, would text her and say, hey, I've been busy, it's been a crazy week, what you doing next weekend? Let's hang out. She will reply and say, yes, no problem at all, where do you want to go? But if this happened to this guy, if this guy tries to get a date, she's going to say, I can't do this, I can't do Monday, I can't do Friday, I can't do this, I'm not too sure, maybe, we'll see. What do you have in mind? What do you want to do? I don't know, I might be in the mood for sushi, I actually don't like that place, I want to go there, can you pick me up? Can you drive me? Right? Just friction, like just asking for more, This guy is basically the same thing, but he's not gonna get sex. Right? It's always, and he's content. He's content with not getting sex. This guy is just like, I just want to be in your vicinity. One day, she will see my true value. And I don't know why I'm talking like a granddad, but you don't want to be this guy. And I'm sure most of you guys watching this, I hope at least you're not there. You have some level of fucking social awareness not to be this guy, because she's just walking over this guy. And this guy, it's a bit tricky, and I feel like most people are here because they have feelings for this girl that is giving them interest, that is showing them some level of interest, but, you know, being very difficult and very kind of demanding. And because this guy doesn't have the abundance, which is basically the difference between this guy and this guy, there is some minor changes that we are going to talk about from going to this guy that are very, very fucking simple, by the way. But it just skyrockets your results and how women respond to you incredibly, okay? But this guy puts up with all this shit because there is a lack of abundance, there is a lack of self-confidence, and there is a lack of boundaries. And also a belief, right? A belief that he can do better, okay? These are the biggest things that this guy here, if you're in the provider frame, or if you're in the provider category, that you believe and you need to fucking snap out of, right? Let's talk about how to become this guy. Okay, I have to put my fucking coffee away for this one. So what does the lover have that all of these guys don't? First of all, it's abundance, okay? Abundance. Okay, so how the fuck do you build abundance? Well, to have abundance, you need to have enough women in your life, okay? And to have enough women in your life, well, you need to put yourself in front of them and create opportunities, all right? And that means meeting them in person, going out, talking to women, actually interacting with women, okay? You can do this through cold approach, you can do this through socializing, going out in the weekends. You have to put yourself in front of women. You have to get numbers, okay? You have to get numbers. Like, this is so fucking huge. It's like a business. How do you want to grow a business if not enough people are aware of the business? If not enough people know about the business, know that the business exists, okay? Marketing 101, right? Business 101, market your business. You are a business. So get out there, put yourself in front of women. If you're going to approach women, which is, I think, the best way to develop the skill to understand how women work and how they think, because you start to actually communicate with them in a more efficient way when you understand the language of women and how attraction is built. You now all of a sudden have a skill that you can use anywhere in the world. You don't need to rely on dating apps. You don't need to rely on, friends and social circles to introduce you to girls. Now all of a sudden, your number of women that you're coming across, that you're coming into your life goes up. And what do you think is going to happen to your results? This is just economics, simple economics. If you do more of something, you are more likely to get a specific result, okay? And especially if you get better at this. Now, I do teach cold approach or just communicating with women, right? It doesn't have to be cold approach. You can just speak to women anywhere, right? There is a way to talk to women that I just categorize as cold approach, but it just simply means talking to women and bringing them into your life that you can potentially date. Another way that you can do is online dating apps, okay? Now, I'm not gonna go into a whole fucking, lecture on dating apps. This is not this video, but there is ways that you can optimize your social media and your dating apps, which again, I do teach in my Skool community, so you can check it out if you want. But let's stay to this video for now because this is more important, okay? So these are ways that you can essentially bring more women in your life so that you can create some level of abundance, okay? This is the number one fucking rule. If you go through a breakup, okay, the best thing that you can do for yourself is get out there and meet more women. Online, dating apps, social media, social circle, cold approach, going out at night, whatever the case may be, go out there and interact with women. That is going to help you build abundance. And once you build abundance and you get good with women and you get good at understanding how women behave in the language of women and how to create attraction and what they find attractive in men, now you start to create some level of pre-selection. Okay, pre-selection, meaning that now you probably have at least like 2 to 4 girls that you're seeing every week, okay? Like in your rotation, you're going out on dates and you have a couple of girls that you're seeing for a few months before they start asking you, do you want a relationship with them, and blah, 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 blah. So now that you have at least 2 to 3 girls that you're dating every single month, right, on a consistent basis, when you have a girl that is giving you fucking, bullshit and friction and all this shit, right? All this fucking bullshit because she maybe for some reason doesn't see you as an attractive guy. Her perceived value of yourself is a little bit lower perhaps in the food chain. Well, when she gives you all this shit, because you have the abundance and the pre-selection and you've built that confidence, you've built that reference experience that you're not needy anymore, you know that this girl, is not the only girl that you can fucking have in your life, then all of a sudden you just don't put up with this shit, right? You're just like, fuck this. You're like, I'm not having this. It's like, nope, sorry, I can't. Like, what do you want to go? You want to go to a restaurant as a first date? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't do restaurant on the first date. I mean, I barely know you, to be fair. You don't want to be stuck with me as well for 2 hours. Imagine we don't get along. Like, what happens? This is literally what I say to girls. And then that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Like, she doesn't want to be stuck with me for 2 hours because she doesn't know me. I don't want to be stuck with her for 2 hours because I might not end up, liking her. So it makes total sense to just have boundaries. Boundaries, right? You have to have boundaries, okay? Like, you have to have some level of self-respect. And I say this, and like, if there is a girl that's giving you all this friction and these conditions, boundaries, dude. Fucking boundaries. No, okay? And then it's easier to act like this when you have abundance and you have pre-selection, you have some level of success. And this is so important why you have to take action. You have to work on these things. You have to get good with speaking to women. You have to understand how women experience attraction, what they find attractive, because otherwise you'll just be stuck here, okay? You'll just be stuck here and you'll be wondering why. And women will just fucking use you. Women will just fucking use you. And you'll be fucking stuck every time. But not only this, the very girl that you're chasing, she's fucking some dude up there, right? That she's given no fucking resistance to. Zero. Girls will fucking sleep with me on the first date like this. Not because I'm tall, not because I'm a good looking, I'm 5'7". And you can see me, I'm not fucking attractive. I mean, I'm just normal dude, right? Probably like a 5 or 6 at best, okay? I mean, my hair is balding, so let's not even talk about this, right? Zero fucking friction. Nada, okay? Because I've built this. I don't care if this girl is, asking me to go on a fucking dinner date and I say no to her and then she just ghosts me and never fucking speaks to me. I don't give a fuck. I have girls I'm already speaking to in the rotation, okay? And then from these girls, I can pick the best one that I want to long-term, date or wife or whatever the case may be down the line, okay? So that might be something that you're thinking if you're in your late 20s or 30s and you want to settle down. You have to go through the player phase. You have to go through the lover phase. Otherwise, how are you gonna siphon out the women that are worth settling for, right? Because if you have 2 or 3 girls that you're dating every month, right? And you can see the one that you gel with, the one that's good in bed, with you have that chemistry. She cooks for you in the morning, she's nice to you, she doesn't give you headaches, she doesn't make things difficult, she's not toxic, she helps you out with your business and whatever. Like, it's actually a fun person to be around. If you don't have that experience, that backlog, right? That fucking rotation, how are you gonna find that girl? The first girl, right? The first girl is not going to be the girl that you're going to fucking, spend the rest of your life with. Definitely not. So you have to understand that you have to build the abundance and the pre-selection. Because when you build this, you start to behave differently. You start to behave like this guy. And all of a sudden, you go up in the ranks, right? And now she starts to see you differently. Do you understand? And her interest level obviously goes, and your perceived value in her mind goes up, okay? And you really have to understand that it's not about money, it's not about looks, it's really about how you behave. Because these guys here can have more money than you, they can have better looks, but because they behave like chumps, right? Absolute losers. And it's not because of their fault, it's just they just don't know any better. And if they know, they're in victim mentality or they have some level of superiority mentality, and that's their fault, dude. They're gonna stay here for the rest of their life and get used. Right? Meanwhile, the guys who understand this shit are going to be up here and winning and actually have abundance. So if you want to master the language of women and attraction and get dates every single week with attractive girls that you want, check out the link down below for my Skool community. I also have a free texting guide that you can download straight away. It's completely free and it's the exact texting principles and the lines that I use to get dates every single week. And it shows you how to deal with any and every texting scenario that you may face with women so that you're no longer confused with texting women. See you on the next one. Ciao.